Dubai has become one of the best places in the world for nightlife, and one of the artisans of the nightlife here is Rabih Fakhreddine, who's the CEO and founder of Seven Management, who is behind some of the biggest venues in town here in Dubai. Today he'll be with us to share some of his insights, the highs and lows, and how nightlife's not always about the bling bling and the beauty of it. Rabih, how are you? Thanks for being with us today.
Great. I'm great, George. Thank you for having me. It's a great pleasure to be on your podcast and looking forward for an interesting one.
Interesting, very interesting. We hope that it will be for our audience today. Nightlife is a lot of bling bling and everything seems amazing and always fun. What people don't realize what the hustle is behind keeping venues like this up and running and keeping them at the forefront of the nightlife scene. Rabih, tell us about you to start with. Who are you? Where were you born? What is the road that brought you to where you do today?
Thanks again, George. I'm a Lebanese, 40 years old, married with 2 kids, born and raised in Beirut. I started my passion for this industry since I was young. I studied at the American University of Beirut. I graduated with a BA in business marketing, and I started exploring this industry, if I may say, because back then my parents couldn't afford sending me to Lausanne, to Switzerland. This was my target. So I stayed in Beirut, I studied at YUBI, and I started doing events when I was in university.
So is this what you always wanted to do when you were studying at university? Is it something that you were thriving to become events, to become an entrepreneur in nightlife, or you were just going with the flow and doing what you liked?
I was a foodie since I was a kid.
Okay, interesting.
I used to spend a lot of time in the kitchen, whether with my mom or with my grandmother, and I discovered my passion or my interest in this field.
At what age?
My teenage,
Yeah.
so teens, 12, 13, 14. I remember very well at the International College, I used to participate in cake sales. I used to let my mom bake some cakes. I used to go and sell them in a few hours. Then I was out of stock. So I got to
so
flirt
you discovered
with this,
the combination of food and making money very quickly.
100%. And this is the secret recipe, if I may say.
Yeah.
So in UB, George, when I was studying, I used to do a lot of events. I remember very well the fan parks during World Cup, the Ramadan tents in Ramadan, and I saw how lucrative they are, and they made me a lot of money because I didn't take a penny since I was 18 years old from my parents. So I used to use this money for my pocket money, if I may say, and then I used it to invest, and which I will tell you more about later on. Then I graduated from AUB. I joined the corporate world. I joined the British American Tobacco. For 6 years, and during my journey with BAT, that was my daytime job. I used to invest in a few bars and restaurants as a silent partner, and
as we do in Beirut.
Exactly.
As we do in Beirut.
Exactly. And until 2011, where I decided with 2 of my colleagues to open our first bar at Hamra.
What was that, by the way? Because I get approached a lot to invest in bars and restaurants and some of these venues. What was your? I mean, you're a bit in a conflict of interest because you probably do raise funds from some of your venues. But let's get real here. Early on, when you invested in some of those bars, some of them probably might have been friends. Some of them might have been people you knew or acquaintances and all these things. Did you see any money back from those investments, or was it difficult?
That's a spot on.
Yeah.
And most of them, I lost money.
Okay.
And
You lost money because they didn't make any money, or because they didn't last long enough, or because just the structure was not very clear? Or is it a mix?
It's a mix,
Yeah.
and this was a good learning curve for me. And it was mainly because of the operator that I invested with. And till now, George, before I sleep and I put my head on the pillow, my number one concern is how I return money to my investors.
That's fantastic.
And I think this part of it is due to my experiences as a silent partner. The business from outside is very lucrative. Everyone is excited about it. If you see 2-3 people on the street, they want to open a restaurant or open a bar or open a nightclub. The barrier to entry is very low, and doctors, engineers, what have you. They want to start this business. They like to associate themselves to restaurants, to the lifestyle and all the glam that goes behind it. But when it comes to the real world, it's not as easy as
I
it
always
looks.
say it. We know of the ones that worked. We don't know of the ones that didn't work. And
100%.
what would you say is a percentage of venues that thrive, not that survive, that thrive and do well compared to the number of venues that's opened? Let's say here or in
I think
Beirut.
not more than 30%.
30%. So you think 30% do actually
100%. So if you have 10 restaurants opening, most probably 7 will shut down.
Yeah.
Or let's say 5 will shut down, 2 will break even, and 3 will thrive.
And this is something that's not very advertised. Obviously, you only know of the ones that are doing well. all the time.
100%. And that's what we try to do at Seven Management, George, is to always look at the ROI and the return on investment. And for me, the reputation is something that I really invest in. Our reputation as a group and my reputation as on a personal
And
level.
we'll get to that in a bit. I really want to talk about Seven Management. I want to talk about you first. I want
So
people to
going
know
back
who
to
you are.
100%. Going back to university, I graduated, joined BAT, started as a silent partner. Until 2011, I opened my first venture with 2 of my colleagues from BAT. It was a great success. Faces at Hamra Street. Then we opened February 30, then Big Shot, then few brands. Until 2015, when I decided to quit my full-time job and the corporate world and to go and start Seven Management.
When was that?
2015.
2015.
Yes.
Okay, so about 10 years ago.
Exactly 10 years.
Excellent. Rabih, what's the biggest misconception you would say people have about you? It's a tough question. I know it's a tough question, but from what you hear or what you're told, what is a big misconception that people have about you?
That's a good one. I think the biggest misconception people have about me that I'm lucky and it was by chance.
Yeah. Right place, right time.
Right place, right time, right partners. Because I heard that a lot during my Beirut days. That he picked the right partners. They
have
opened
money.
doors,
They have this. They have
opened
that.
doors. They gave him access. And then when I did it again in Dubai, and now we'll talk more about Seven Management and what happened after Beirut's economic crisis and the port explosion, where I pressed the reset button and I started all again in Dubai. And I did it even bigger in Dubai. I guess I proved everyone wrong, and I proved that this is.
You will still have the naysayers. You will still have the people that are saying it's because of X or it's because of Y or it's because of this.
100%.
And this is. Which leads me to the next question.
And I don't deny luck, George.
Yeah, everybody needs luck.
100%.
Yeah, everybody needs luck in any business. That's for sure.
You're in the right time,
what
right
you do
place,
with your luck,
right industry. So
yeah. I like that you said that. That's actually very true in any business that you're in, not only in nightlife. Which leads me to the question. And this show's called Real Talk, so we say things as they are, right? And we try to share with our listeners and our audience our real experiences. You're in nightlife. Partying, fun, woman, music, all these things. You're very popular in terms of socially speaking, let's say, because people will know, oh, this is Rabih, he's the head of this, he's the head of that, this is the cool place. I've done a bit of nightlife before in my life, in my younger years as a promoter and stuff like that. So I know kind of what comes with it. How do you stay grounded? You're a married man with a family. You're a family man, yet you have to be involved every day in this type of scene. You have to be hands-on in a lot of those restaurants or the clubs or the bars or whatever it is. You're very popular because just the way it is everywhere in the world. The leaders in nightlife and in F&B are very popular. How do you stay grounded? How do you first of all deal with family, and keeping your family life normal, let's say, and on the other hand, how do you deal with filtering real friendships from and this you might get a lot, you'll get a lot of people that want to befriend you because of what you are rather than who you are, and so on and so forth. How do you deal with that?
Good one, George. If you look at me off stage, I'm the complete opposite of all what you said.
Yeah.
I'm a very low profile person. I'm a family guy. I wake up 7 a.m. every morning. I drop my kids to school. I work out every day.
Do you drop your kids to school
Yes.
every day? Yeah, that's amazing.
4 times, if not
Yeah.
5 times a week.
Yeah. More than me.
No, for me, George, I take this as an opportunity to spend quality time with my kids, especially that they spend most of their time at school and I'm at the office.
Yeah.
So, and then I have a small window, maybe 1 hour or 2 hours end of the day to see them before they go to bed. So I tend to wake up and to spend this quality time and I like to give them the tips and to prepare them for life, if I may say. So I always try to send these messages during our talks, during our conversations, even in the drop-offs. So I'm a family guy.
Do you spend a lot of late nights in your venues?
Not really.
Not really.
Not really.
Maybe before more than now.
Before maybe I had to. I'm a social drinker.
Yeah.
I barely drink alcohol.
That's good.
Yes,
That's
maybe
that's very healthy in this industry.
Maybe 1 or twice a month, not more.
Okay.
I like to spend as much as quality time with my family as possible. I on the weekends it's for them. We like to do staycations to explore new things.
And obviously, you've built a team that you can rely on to be able to run the business.
That's why when I told you at the beginning, maybe I had to, but today, where Seven Management is and the scale that we have, and thanks to the team, of course, where we have great talents and people,
reliable people
that I trust. And speaking about trust, especially in our industry, trust is key. So we hand select the people, and they've been with us for years and years now, and we trust them and the operations, if I may say. So going back to being grounded, this is what I always tell anyone I meet or I mentor. That your feet needs to be well grounded, and you need to climb the ladder step by step, and that's how I did it in life. So
and very important lesson to our audience: don't get drunk on your own success.
100%.
That's the most
especially in our industry and in city like Dubai, it tends to become tempting. So you have to always remember the values and the principles, and I'm a man that works a lot on my values, on my business ethics, and I give credit to myself on this, that I would always put this before money, before any gain, that I need to really stick to the values and beliefs.
And I think that's very important in your industry. There's a few people in your industry that have, and you're one of them that have very good reputation. And I think that is key, like you said, when you move forward and when you're looking for funding and fundraising and partners and so on. This is the first thing that people ask. Some people in your industry have a very good reputation, and some people have a very bad reputation. But these things come out quite quickly.
Unfortunately, most of them have a bad reputation. But like you said, George, the word of mouth spreads quickly, and that's why I like to keep our reputation. And that's why if you look at our investors and the pool of investors that have invested with us, they've been investing with us for years and years now.
So they're repeat investors.
And they're repeat investors, and they trust us in any upcoming projects and concepts, and they want to invest more and more.
Excellent. What would you say is one thing that you sacrificed for success, or to get to the success level where you're at, that nobody knows about or nobody would think about? What is the number one, when you look back at the last 10 years, let's call it the last 10 years, what is it that you've had to sacrifice the most to get you where you are today?
I think time.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, I think time, to be honest. If I look back if I look back at my story and how I started and where I am today, time definitely is what I sacrificed. Time, long hours where I could have spent, where I could have went out with my friends, enjoyed, traveled. Especially our industry, George. If you look at it, our hottest time is the weekend. It's the peak. It's the holidays. It's when everyone relaxes or enjoyed their time. It's when we work and hustle the most. Another thing is being away from home. So Dubai, definitely I consider it as my second home, but I had at a point to leave Beirut and come here to build, to start from scratch. And this is mainly due to what happened in Lebanon and the situation where I was forced basically to leave my home, to leave my extended family. My parents still live in Beirut. So this is another thing that I don't want to say I regret, But
It's a sacrifice.
It's a sacrifice that I'm paying, especially when I see my parents, they're growing and all this, and I'm away.
This is something that
we
all
go
of
on
us,
Christmas, we go in Ramadan to
Yeah.
Beirut in summer. But if I calculate them, they don't.
Amount to a month,
They
yeah.
don't amount more than 2 months.
Yeah.
So this is another.
And I think this is a
sacrifice.
feeling that a lot of us expats have
Yeah.
at this point, especially at our age and our parents growing, and this is that's kind of the regrets that we start having. So you're not. I assure you, you're not alone in that boat. Okay, let's move from Rabia, and thanks for sharing these insights with us to seven management. Let's call it seven unfiltered, if you want, in terms of looking at the actual business. What was the moment? You told us it was 10 years ago. What was the moment where you said, you know what, that's it. I'm officializing this. I'm starting Seven Management or whatever it was called at the time. And I'm dedicating my full energy and my full thought to starting this. Do you remember? Is there a specific moment or was it just a work in progress until one day you said?
It's a bit of both.
Yeah.
It's work on progress, obviously, George. And when I started in 2015, I was flirting with the idea like 2 years back, since 2012 or 2013. I was debating between me and myself if I start my company. Back then, Beirut didn't help, to be honest, because the situation, you know how it's unstable, and every year you have either a war or social unrest or economic crisis. So, and I had a decent salary and I was working with a multinational. So
And that's the
this
toughest
dilemma
thing, right?
was
Yeah,
always there.
the comfort zone.
But you know what? I always trust my instinct, because when I graduated from YUBI, I joined Leo Burnett in Dubai in 2006, and I stayed with them for 1 year. For 1 month, and there was a war in Lebanon. Then I was homesick, and I decided to go back to Beirut. Everyone thought that I was crazy.
To leave a good job.
Everyone was leaving Beirut and was looking for a job outside, and I was in Dubai. I was in a reputable company, but I followed my instinct back then. And so when I started Seven Management, so I told you how I started opening these bars or partnering up in these bars, and I saw how lucrative they were financially.
Yeah.
So I said, you know what, I want to start my own company, especially when I managed to get hold on a big piece of land in Solidaire, and I started Seven Sisters. That was the trigger point.
And how many people told you you're crazy? It's never going to work. There's so many things out there.
Starting with my parents,
Yeah.
I remember this conversation
Yeah.
very well with my mom, where she told me, Rabia, you're an ambitious person, but mom, you have a decent salary and you're working on a multinational. Why don't you stay with them and you do this on the side like you were doing it before? But I really had this feeling and urge that I want to start and to be a full-time and focus on it, because I knew the potential of it and where I can lead this
So when you
company.
started Seven Sisters Beirut, and be honest, what was in your mind the percentage of potential that it would fail? Or did you think this is never going to fail? I trust myself so much that this is for sure is going to be a winner. Or did you say, you know what, there's a 30% chance it's going to fail?
0%.
0%.
Anything I do in life, George.
That's the kind of people I like.
It's not
Yeah.
like I'm over self-confident, but
Yeah.
on the contrary, I do my homework properly. And in life, I failed, and we're going to talk about
You have
later
to fail,
on.
of course.
And this was a big and a major learning curve. But for me, George, as a person, going back to Rabia, I always look at the glass that is half full,
Yeah.
not half empty.
That's
And
a good,
I'm
yeah.
positive.
Yeah.
I'm positive in life in general, and I try to look at things in a
So
positive
am I.
way.
We're very alike in a lot of things.
Yeah,
That's
but I always have a plan B in place. And this saved me a lot of money during the economic crisis in Beirut, because I saw it coming. And when everyone thought I was crazy, I managed to pull out my money from Lebanon at an early stage.
Smart.
So I always try to be to have a plan B in place, and this helped me throughout my career as well.
super. And speaking of risky environments, all that, what's the biggest financial risk you ever took with the business? The one where you said, you know what, here, I'm all in. I'm going to have trouble sleeping for the next few weeks. Can you think of something?
Trouble sleeping for a few months.
A few
to be
months.
honest. No, I had that. And that was during COVID and during my Dubai expansion.
Interesting.
I will tell you the story. It's an interesting one. Beirut explosion happened on 4th of August. 8th of August, I left with my wife and my newborn, Mila, and we went to Athens with her family. And the decision back then was either Dubai or Athens. I already had 2 operations, Seven Sisters and Antica in Dubai, that were up and running. COVID was there, but Dubai was treating COVID in a smart way. So I decided to come to Dubai with my family, and I went all in. I decided to move my head office to Dubai, and I rented 6 venues, and I opened 6 venues in 18 months. And I remember very well.
6 and 18 months during COVID.
During COVID.
Wow.
I saw that Dubai was the place to be. I saw how everyone was relocating to Dubai. And I went all in. And I remember very well the theater, our dinner show, which I called Guy Manoukian, and I told him to come to Dubai.
That used to be Cavalli before. Because in my days it was Cavalli.
Used to be Cavalli. And we paid big key money to take this venue.
Wow.
And then...
that's a big risk there.
And then a new wave of COVID came in, and they shut down the city again.
Yeah.
And I had people on the payroll. I brought Guy. We were paying rent. And all of a sudden, the restrictions, no entertainment for a few months. And I remember very well, I couldn't sleep at night. I was telling my wife, back then we were spending from our savings with 0 income, but I still believe that after that, I can see the end of the tunnel, and Dubai will be the place to be.
Interesting. Thanks for sharing. That's a nice anecdote. Look, the hospitality scene in Dubai is fierce. Many groups, deep pockets, many different venues, many propositions, international brands, so on and so forth. What do you think differentiates you? And if it's not what differentiates you, is what do you think is essential to survive that scene and to stay at the forefront of people's minds on places to go? Besides the fact that let's admit it, you do have a Lebanese kind of touch to your venues. No, not touch. I would say Lebanese following or Lebanese style of managing things, like other groups in the city, not only you. But what would you say would differentiate your group compared to others, whether it's the brand mix, whether it's the proposition or the offering mix, or whatever it is?
I don't like to say that I have the Lebanese touch, to be honest, George.
I know, I saw it on your face when I said it.
No. I have the Lebanese spirit.
Yeah, the Lebanese spirit, which is the best one.
I have the Lebanese spirit, which is the best one in nightlife, with all respect to everyone.
Yeah.
And we see how the biggest groups in the nightlife in Dubai are Lebanese operators.
Correct.
I have the Lebanese resilience, which helped me a lot. But in Dubai, we have the international standards, and that's what made us who we are today. In Dubai, it's the survival of the fittest, obviously, and we're seeing, especially the past 2 years.
If you can make it here, you can make it anywhere, right?
It used to be, if you can make it in London, you can make it anywhere. Now, if you make it in Dubai, you can make it anywhere, and that's why we're seeing all the international brands coming to the city and trying to expand and scale their brands to Dubai. And I think what Seven Management done right is that we created brands that resonate, brands that have strong DNA and strong
And most
offering.
of them are your brands, unlike other groups that bring in brands from the outside. A lot of those brands are yours, homegrown.
We work under several verticals, George, but our main and core vertical is homegrown concepts. And the second vertical, which we work on, is franchises and partnerships. But the main core is homegrown, and we've excelled in it. If you look at the theater, the #1 dinner show, February 30, the #1 beach bar.
I love February 30,
Recently,
by the way.
thank you.
It's really nice.
Recently, we launched YUBI, the first homegrown hand roll bar in the region, not even in Dubai.
Great food. We had lunch there the other day.
Yes, sir.
Very good food. Yeah.
And YUBI is a perfect example that you can compete with international brands if you have the right recipe, if I may say, and you need to tick the boxes on every single aspect: the location, the product, the marketing, and we did that, and that's what makes Seven Management. Also, one more thing is the storytelling. I think there is so much competition now, George. You have to differentiate yourself with a brand or with an experience that resonates with the clients and the consumer, and that's what we are good at.
Yeah, interesting. What's the realest thing about nightlife that people don't know? Only an operator would know, or somebody from within the industry would know. What is something, because like I said, and we always say that, from the outside it looks amazing. We were talking about that just before we started filming, by the way. From the outside, everything looks amazing. We're all making a lot of money. Everybody's happy. Everybody's jolly. Everything's working perfectly. What is the real behind the scenes thing that people are not aware of that is common to nightlife, or that you've seen across your different venues or your people or whatever it is?
I think let's start with that everyone thinks it's so glamorous and it's about popping champagne and girls, and you mentioned all these, but it's definitely a tough business to have your place getting full is the hardest thing ever.
Is that the hardest thing, to fill up the place?
Definitely,
Yeah.
especially with competition,
Yeah.
And especially if you are not going into the lineup war, if I may say, because
Yeah.
now we see how like people or operators fight over DJs,
Yeah.
big names, international
Especially
DJs
in this city, yeah.
and the city, especially in cities like Dubai and international destinations. It's a game of lineup. When you are not into this. And you are only having a regular DJ, it's about the experience and it's about the whole setup. I like to call it the Netflix syndrome, and this is a key learning I took from COVID. Previously, people when they wanted to watch a movie, they used to look at they used to go to the cinema, select the movie they want, and buy the ticket and go and watch it. Now you sit on your couch in your house and you flip you flip from one series to another. Same goes for hospitality or nightlife or entertainment. People want a one-stop shop. So what I mean by that, they want a nice ambience, good setup, good entertainment, good food, all in one, and that's what we cracked. And this is what made Seven Management who it is today. Going back to nightclubs, I think the traditional nightclubs or the typical party scene is fading away.
Yeah.
People are more looking into, like I said, a bit of everything.
A hybrid
a hybrid of everything.
Yeah.
Of course, you have the mega events with the lineups and all this, but the typical nightclub is fading more into lounges, into dinner shows, into experiential
supper clubs,
and all this, into festive restaurants with high energy, and that's what we managed to do.
If you had to pick one, and I know it's not an easy question, if you had to pick one, what is the venue in your 10 years of business, let's say, that you're the most proud of, and why?
Wow.
I'm putting you on the spot here.
That's a tough one.
There is one that's always special. Whether it's was the experience to build it, or whether it's the result, or it's the most popular one, or whatever it is. There's always someone that's special. Why is that one the special one for you?
It's as if you're telling me
choose between your kids.
Between your kids.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's why it's a tough
definitely
question.
Not the case, because I can never choose between my kids. But for my brands, it's February 30.
Yeah.
It's the brand that our legacy started with in Beirut in 2012.
The first big success.
It's the first big success. I remember very well when I used to sit in the venue. I used to see people from Jordan, from Egypt, and they used to tell me that they come from the airport to February 30. So it's a brand that costed us $500,000, and we did the ROI in 6 months.
Yeah, that's always a good experience.
It's a brand that evolved. It used to be a cocktail bar in Beirut, and now it's the #1 beach bar in Dubai. It's the highest revenue generating brand in our portfolio.
Is it really?
I will not disclose the number.
No, I don't want to know the numbers.
But it's a big number, and it's the highest revenue generating. At the same time, it's the highest EBITDA.
Yeah.
Because you can have you can have a high generating venue, but then you can look at your bottom line, and with the entertainment cost and with all this, the bottom line might look not as positive as the top line. But in February 30, it's the highest top line, highest bottom line, and it's a brand very dear to my heart, if I may say.
That's a very good choice, and I encourage people to go there. It's a very nice vibe by the
free marketing.
Exactly, by the beach. But no, it's like you said, it's a mix of good food, good drinks, nice music, chilled out.
And it caters everyone. It caters family. It caters.
The setting there is unbeatable. With the views that you have from there, you don't find that in a lot of places in the world. Okay, so we've talked about Rabih, the man. We've talked about Seven, the business, and where the business is at now. I want to talk a bit about the future, right? So I want to talk a bit about the future of Dubai's nightlife, about Seven and all that. Dubai has come a long way in terms of nightlife, and I've been here 20 years, Rabih. So I've seen it evolve from the little, the small bars that we all used to go to. We had 5, 6, 7, max 8 restaurants to pick from back in the day. Everybody knew everybody. You'd go out and you'd know everybody because it was the same people going out. This has evolved now to world-class brands, an unimaginable number of choices, different cuisines, different size venues in different locations, and so on and so forth. Like with everything, too much is like not enough. in the next 5 years, where do you see this all going? Because we're seeing, again, I was seeing, 2 days ago, 3 days ago, the opening of Carbone, for example. That's a big restaurant from New York and from Hong Kong and so on. And these will just keep on coming and coming and coming. Where do you see this going in 5 years? Do you see a consolidation of certain brands together, groups acquiring some of the brands? Do you see it more as a group approach in the future, or will we have more independence? Where do you see the future of dining and nightlife in Dubai in the next 5 years, or say 5 to 10 years? Because you must have a vision of where this is going.
Definitely. I think, like I always like to say, George, we are very lucky to be living in Dubai and in the UAE and raising our families in this beautiful city and beautiful country. Yesterday, I give you an example. I was at Ras Al Khaimah and I met the guys behind the Win. And I saw this beast that they are building,
which is supposed to be
you can't imagine what those guys are having and what they will be launching soon. And I think Ras Al Khaimah will definitely be a big destination. So I have no doubt in the vision of the leadership where it's taking our country or taking UAE and building.
It's our country too. Come on, we're residents here and we're
especially if
here.
you look at what yesterday they offered the golden visa holders.
Yes. To be treated like a citizen abroad.
The leadership are treating us like citizens abroad. This is a proud moment for us, citizens of Dubai and the
especially
UAE,
coming from a country where it's more difficult.
100%. So we are really lucky to be here. Going back to Dubai, I think what we managed, all of us, to do, all the players, Seven Management and the big players, the big operators in town, that we created a destination. With the vision of the leadership, with the right ecosystem that they provided us, we managed to excel. You mentioned few brands, George, that are coming to Dubai, but I want to stress more on the homegrowns that are being scaled outside Dubai.
So here's an interesting one for you. Sorry to interrupt. So I was in London recently. I went to the Oasis concert. My wife loves Oasis. And I realized that a lot of the homegrown brands here are now open in London, whereas before we used to say, yeah, this one's from London. I remember it came here. We're actually exporting brands now, which is fantastic.
100%. And I think in the next 5 years, we're going to see more and more homegrown concepts being exported worldwide. Definitely, like I said earlier, it's going to be the survival of the fittest. But I think there's still gap in the market. Maybe the fine dining segment is a bit saturated. Maybe the upscaled casual still has more potential. Look, for example, at what we did at 25 Jump Street. We curated as Seven Management a beautiful destination along with our partners at Ennismore.
That's a great project, by the way. That's really nice.
We saw that there's a gap in the market in the casual segment.
25 Jump Street is the street in the World Trade, in DWTC, where we have a lot of F&B venues just behind
bars and restaurants. The first licensed street. We had this vision 4 years back. When I moved to Dubai, we wanted to open something called Barville. The word bar maybe didn't resonate well with the Dubai World Trade Center.
Yeah.
Then
we could do a shout out to our friend Jad Bshara.
Big shout out to Jad. With Jad, we've built this from scratch, and Lewis from Ennismore, where we managed to create a beautiful tenant mix. Brands Lebanese, international, homegrown, and December, like in 1 month time, you're gonna see it fully operational. And this translates the gap that was in the market. I like to call it, we're the younger sister or brother of the IFC, the more affordable one, the one that you can come every day, come as you are, that you can come during the day, come during the night. And it's really, it taps exactly what Dubai is missing, the neighborhood bars, the local community. It's a project very dear to my heart, and I think we were going to see more and more projects like this across the city.
Speaking of what Dubai is missing, actually, the contrary of that, what is one trend that you see today in nightlife that needs to go, that you're fed up of seeing, or that people are fed up of seeing, something that you think should change? Anything that comes to mind particularly?
Not really. One thing that we see, that once you have a successful venue, people like to copy it. Yeah, and
but that's in all businesses, Rabih. Believe me, we've been copied so many times.
And
as Virtue's Own.
And I feel proud when I hear of a concept, or I see that I managed to influence someone to do a similar concept.
Imitation is the best form of flattery.
100%. I think this eventually, because the market is a bit saturated, So this will filter out with time, I'm sure, but nothing specific. Trends, we live in an industry that trends change every now and then,
Yeah.
which is healthy at the same time because it keeps us on our toes,
Fresh, yeah.
and
people get bored of the,
brainstorming,
people get
and
bored of the
we
same
always,
things.
I like to call it the kitchen,
Yeah.
the back of the house, where we are always brainstorming, where we are always traveling across the world to see new trends, new ideas, to get inspired, if I may say, and to do it better and better, and that's what we are good at.
Nice. Rabih, what advice would you give to young entrepreneurs today that want to get into the nightlife industry? Look, all of us who are a bit social, when we're younger, we dream of having our own bar, having our own restaurant, having our own nightclub. What advice would you give to entrepreneurs today? Because I would imagine that times have changed from when you opened, 10, 15, 20 years ago. What advice would you give them today on maximizing their chance of success?
Good one. I think, first of all, I have many advices, but first, the key advice is they should believe in themselves, self-confidence. So for me, I like to say my motto is always sky is the limit. And I live by it. I'm very self-confident that whenever you asked me if I had any doubt of failure, and I told you zero, because this goes back to my self-confidence. I'm not saying that I didn't fail, and I'm not saying that you should fail to learn, because also I was having this discussion with my partner yesterday.
Speaking of that, what was your biggest failure? It's okay to share this. This is people need to know that even the most successful people have failed. A specific
George,
venue or a specific way.
Mainly brands that we created and we failed in because the brand DNA or the offering was not strong enough.
But you learned from that.
But I learned from it, and that's and if you look at our brands and how they evolved and how they become better with time, I took key learnings from those failures, and I took the positive side, going back of positivity. So self-confidence, going back to my advice, self-confidence, start the ladder step by step.
Start small.
Start small, baby steps. That's how I did it in Dubai. I remember very well. We started doing events. Back then,
Antica, was it?
Antica Nights, exactly.
Sofitel or something?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Antica Nights, we didn't have the means and we didn't have the courage back then, because everyone used to tell me, Dubai, if you fail in Dubai, you'll go bankrupt. There's a lot of competition. This is in 2016,
Dubai
2017, before COVID. So I said, you know what? Let's start with events. Let's test the water. Let's gather our database. Let's learn the market. And that's what we did in Antica Nights, where we used to do every night around $20,000-$30,000 into our pockets. Then I saw how lucrative it was. I remember very well our partner and a good friend, Evgeny from Fundamental Group. He took the plane and he came to visit me in Antica Bar in Dubai. He told me, I want to see who are those guys filling up the place with 1,000 guests every Friday night, Lebanese, Egyptian, Syrian. And then we started to collaborate. We opened Seven Sisters in 2018 at JW Marriott. Then we opened Antica and the TIFC. So starting small. So
that's why Antica was
slowly
Antica
but surely
in the place of SAS Cafe, because it was Fundamental or Bulldozer or whatever.
And Seven Sisters instead of VIP rooms.
Yes,
so we flipped both concepts, and there are still operations.
So it's important to have these relationships in the industry as well, because there's a lot of collaborations that go
100%. I believe in synergies in any industry, to be honest.
Of course, like in any business.
Yeah.
Rabih, we're going to finish with one question, and I want you to finish this sentence. Success in Dubai comes with a price. And that price is what?
Wow. Success in Dubai comes with a price.
What is the price that you have to pay for success in Dubai? Is it monetary? Is it physical? Is it psychological?
It's a bit of everything, but Dubai has its energy. And it's a two-way thing, by the way. It's a double sword. Once you step your foot in the airport, you feel the energy of Dubai. Once you are in the streets of Dubai and you see all these mega projects and the skyline, you can feel this energy. Success in Dubai, the price you have to make is time, I think, going back to time.
Very time consuming.
Very time consuming, very fast pace. I was having this discussion the other day with my partner that we need to leave Dubai every now and then to take a breath.
We all do.
Because
We all
it's
do.
like you're running a marathon here.
We don't realize it.
And you don't realize it until you step your foot outside.
And then you see that everything's in slow motion.
And this has an effect on your health, on your psychology, on
Yeah.
your quality time with your family. So that's why you always need to step backward and to take a deep breath. And especially when you are we hustle day and night, and especially when you're growing a company, you don't feel it until maybe a few years down the line. And I don't want to miss the train, especially when it comes to my family and my kids, because I used to hear it a lot from elder people that time flies and you don't spend we didn't spend time with our kids and we didn't see them grow up. So
this is the price that you're trying not to pay.
Not to pay, exactly. This is the price I'm trying not to pay. On the contrary, that's why I focus to spend quality time with my family and my kids. I want to do both. I want to be successful, to grow my company, but at the same time, for me, George, I always say it to everyone, no matter how successful you are on a career on a career front, if you fail in building your family, you failed miserably.
I agree with you. Rabih, thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for the insights.
It was a pleasure.
It was one of the most, to be honest with you, it was one of the most insightful and interesting ones we've done. Thank you all for listening and tuning in. We hope you enjoyed the podcast. Thank you again, Rabih.
Thank you, George.